Hi guys, welcome to Fierce and Pretty, Honey here. Now I'm finally continuing the Thoth study series with the video that I said I was going to do next. And this is a video that has been taking a lot of prepping, a few Excel sheets, and research and comparing. Because today I'm going to talk about the differences, how to interpret the card meanings, what are the card titles and the meanings in Thoth deck compared to the Rider-Waite-Smith. And the whole point of this video is for somebody who's thinking about starting to look into the Thoth, but they feel that it's so different than the Rider-Waite-Smith system, is to actually bring these two systems closer together and see how much similarities there actually are underneath all that seems different on the top level. I've used actually as the card titles and the meanings, I've used the actual descriptions in the little white books, so as original sources as possible. And I've used also the books by Lon Milo Duquette, Understanding the Thoth Tarot, and then A.E. Waite's Pictorial Key to the Tarot, because I know that nowadays people interpret the cards actually quite differently, and there are a whole lot more meanings into the cards than the little white books have. But I'm here just to have a fair comparison using those as the baseline. So the point is not to give all meanings to each card, just to compare them on a superficial level. Let's jump first to the major arcana. And actually, even though there are a few title changes and the cards are named differently, but actually when you compare these two side by side, the majors are actually quite similar and are actually a really easy part when transferring from, for example, Rider-Waite-Smith to Thoth, or the other way around. The Fool card is named the same and numbered same in both decks. In the Thoth deck, few keywords for these cards are idea, thought, spirituality, sudden impact or impulse, folly. And the Fool in the Rider-Waite-Smith goes to fresh start, new beginning, folly. And actually, Waite's description of this card is based more on the negative side. There are mania, extravagance, intoxication, delirium, etc. So it's quite on the negative base. And just to mention that in these card comparisons, I'm using more about the positive interpretation of the cards. So I'm not going to the negative aspects so much, because it's only, the point is to just compare the actual similarity in these decks. And in my opinion, interpreting the Fool in both these decks is actually very similar. How you interpret the Fool, it is the Fool, even though that in the Thoth deck there is overall a lot more written on the cards. We do have the elemental symbols and Hebrew letters, and there is so much more that you can incorporate in your Thoth reading available in the cards. But these same things can be included in the Rider-Waite-Smith, even though they are not written there. But as a beginner with Thoth, you don't have to do that. And today we are talking only about the card meanings, not so much. We're not going to Kabbalah or astrology or those things. Then the Magician and the Magus. They are titled differently, but the cards are really similar. again, as per their keywords in the little white books. In the Thoth, it says skill, wisdom, craft, wisdom or power, cunning. And here it says skill, diplomacy, self-confidence, and will. So there's, again, two quite similar cards. The priestess and the high priestess. So we just have one word difference there. Pure change, alternation, increase and decrease, and fluctuations. Secrets, mystery, the future yet unrevealed. But actually in both cases, the little white books give quite a little to how the high priestess can be interpreted. It is actually a card that takes a lot of time to find out what it is, and in different readings. Then the Empress cards, they are titled similarly, and also the meanings are quite similar. Love, beauty, happiness, pleasure, success, completion, good fortune, graciousness, elegancy, and luxury. So all pretty good things in the Thoth. And in the Rider-Waite-Smith, we got fruitfulness, action, initiative. So actually the Thoth little white book meanings are, it's giving a lot more, in my opinion, than the A.E. Waite's commentary, but they are interchangeable. The Emperor, war, conquest, victory, strife, ambition, originality, energy, vigor, stubbornness. And in the Rider-Waite-Smith, stability, power, protection, realization, a great person, aid, reason, and conviction. But in both, again, strong masculine terminology in both. Then the Hierophant. Even though the Thoth is bringing a lot of layers with the Egyptian deities and all that, but again, on the surface level, we do have a lot of similarity. Stubborn strength, explanation, teaching, goodness of heart, help from superiors, patience, organization, and peace. A big difference that pops here is what doesn't come up in the Thoth, but is in the individual readers to decide, even if they think to add it also in the Thoth, is the marriage. But here it says marriage, alliance, captivity, servitude, mercy, and goodness. Then to the Lovers. Openness to inspiration, intuition, intelligence, attraction, beauty, and love. Attraction, love, beauty, trials overcome. Then to the Chariot. Triumph, victory, hope, memory, obedience, faithfulness. Farsightedness, war, triumph, and presumption. But quite similar, again, even though the wordings are different, but can be read similarly. Then we are in the first crossroads between these decks. So we're talking about the number 8, which in the Thoth deck is the adjustment card, which equals to justice. And then in the Rider-Waite-Smith, as the 8 card, we have the strength card, which equals to lust cards. But again, here, even though we have difference in the numberings, but actually you don't have to care about that so much. When you're doing a spread, you don't have to necessarily, at least when you are on the beginning level, you don't have to care so much about on the numbering on the card. If you're just starting to interpret the card meaning in the image and in the title. But let's, for comparison's sake, take the Justice card here to compare these two. So even if the names are different, the keywords in Thoth: justice, act of adjustment, marriage agreements, equity, rightness, integrity, law, legal complications. So at least I do see these cards quite similar, and I actually like the idea of adjustment, trying to adjust the things. Then the Hermit: illumination of secret impulse from within, retirement from participation, prudence and solitude. And for me, these cards are really similar. However you see the Hermit can be seen in both decks. Then to the Fortune and Wheel of Fortune, we only have the bit difference in the name, but the meanings yet again similar. Change of fortune, destiny, fortune, success, elevation, and luck. And then to the second crossroad, number 11 and number 8, the strength and the lust. But if we look at the imagery, we do have the lion in both. We do have the women in both. Even though the lust as a card title or keyword can be a bit distracting to some people, but when we jump again to the meanings: courage, strength, energy, action, the use of magical power. Power, energy, action, courage. So you see, same, but different. Then to the Hanged Man: enforced sacrifice, punishment, loss, fatal or voluntary, suffering, defeat, failure. So a bit on the negative side here: wisdom, circumspection, discernment, trials, sacrifice, intuition, divination, prophecy. But again, a hanged man is a hanged man. The Death: transformation, change, voluntary or involuntary, sudden, unexpected. End, mortality, destruction, corruption. Then to the third crossroad. In the Thoth we have the Art as the name of the card, where we do have the Temperance. But the imagery, again, we have the pouring in 2 cups happening here, pouring the water into the fire. And there are a lot of layers in the Thoth deck, especially in this card. But on the surface level, again, they are actually really similar. Combination of forces, realization, calculated action, success after elaborate maneuvers. Moderation, harmony, balance, blending of opposites. And this is what the alchemical process here is also in the Thoth. It is the blending. So don't get distracted by the different titles. The Devil: blind impulse, irresistibility, irresistibly strong, ambition, temptation, obsessions, hard work, rigidity. Violence, force, fatality, materialism, abuse, temptation. Then the Tower cards: quarrel, combat, danger, ruin, destruction, sudden, escape from prison. And I actually like a lot to think about also this escape from a mental prison with this one. Misery, distress, deception, ruin, catastrophe. So again, super similar. The Star: hope, unexpected help, clearness of vision, possibilities, spiritual insight, hope and bright prospects. So again, on the positive side, similar. The Moon: illusion, deception, bewilderment, falsehood, brink of important change, hidden enemies, danger, darkness, terror, and deception. So, both deceptive mood cards. The Sun. Glory, gain, triumph, pleasure, truth, recovery from sickness, material happiness, fortunate marriage, contentment. So again, different type of keywords, but super similar. Then, yet again, a cross out here. The Eon versus the Judgment. And here, if you go into the whole story, why Crowley changed the card to Eon. Whilst it is an interesting story and it has a lot to it, but when it comes to reading, again, these majors are super similar. If we forget the Nuit, the Hadith, and horrors and everything from the Book of the Law and just concentrate interpreting this card in a reading. Final decision in respect of the past. New current in future. Taking a definite step. Change of position, renewal, outcome. So in the both cards we are looking backwards and trying to see what has been done. And it is the ending and stepping into a new past and making amends and checking that all things in the past have been arranged. And then different titles, but similarities again in the universe and the world card. Essence, end, synthesis, completion, assured success, voyage, route, change of place. So in the Thoth, it doesn't talk so much about the traveling aspect. So I created this Excel file where I also added some color coding on the similarity of the names and added the correspondences if they are planetary, zodiacal, or elemental, because everything, all the planetary connections that are written in the Thoth deck, they are present in the Rider-Waite-Smith, even though they are not written on there, but they can be used as a part of the system. I just personally think that when they are written and shown in the Thoth more, you think of them more rather than in the Rider-Waite-Smith. So that's why I prefer all the information and the layers of Thoth. But you don't have, as I said, use it if you are just starting the switch from Rider-Waite-Smith to Thoth. There's a fair amount of work just to get to know the imagery and get comfortable with the card meanings.